Hello and welcome to the final part of my narrowboat journey from Wigramsturn Marina down the South Oxford Canal to Cropredy. It was a beautiful Saturday morning and I woke with the lark, by which I mean I was ready to go at about 8 o'clock in the morning. With the narrowboat engine in tickover, I waved goodbye to Fenny Compton and set off past a long line of moored boats, the occupants of which all appeared to be having a very sensible lie-in. Considering the weather forecast for the trip had been mostly overcast and showery, I really had struck lucky, especially that morning as the sun glistened through the trees. There's a wharf here which I'd been told has the best value diesel fuel on the local canals, though as I didn't need a top-up I wasn't going to verify this, but maybe on the way back. Is that a good price? I honestly don't know at the moment. And just south of the wharf is Fenny Compton Marina. I wonder if Fenny Compton could be the love interest for my canalboat detective, Marston Doles. You know, a book is genuinely beginning to take shape here. With no further restrictions, I powered on, needing to make up time from the prior day when I'd stopped 45 minutes short of my intended destination. The canal starts to narrow here because almost 200 years ago it went through a tunnel through a hill. But in 1838 work began to open it up, though the canal channel remained narrow. There is space for a swan, and yes, you might get another boat in there, but you'd be scraping the paint on the trees a bit. What a contrast between the old ironwork bridge and the ugly new one. This long green corridor is clearly a wildlife haven. Just listen to this bird song. Have I accidentally taken the boat down the Amazon or something? It's like a jungle here. And you go into another very narrow bit where there really is only space for one boat. Again, this was part of the tunnel once upon a time. Luckily, at 10 to 9 on a Saturday morning, there was no oncoming traffic. It widens out after about 3/4 of a mile, thankfully. "40 minutes into the trip, and just after this bridge was where I'd anticipated stopping the night before. There's a railway line alongside the canal at this point, and my guidebook had suggested I could stop near an abandoned rail bridge over the canal. There it is, up ahead. Oh, and that's some bit of canal workings, but I don't know what specifically. Back to the railway bridge. It's really quite impressive. However, in terms of stopping here, well, let's just say I'm glad I paused overnight at Fenny Compton, because there's no decent edge of the canal to tie up to, and I still don't have any mooring pins. Yes, that is a bit of an omission for a canal boat, I know. Anyway, we carry on with more geese sightings. And sight of an upcoming lift bridge, which my notes tell me is thankfully usually left open, so I don't have to stop and muck about with lifting or shutting it. I just need not to hit it as I go under while filming. Made it! I'm guessing these ducks get fed a lot by the moorers here. At first I thought this was just adult swans on their nest, but look closely and you can see two little cygnets sitting by their mum. By this point, I was not far from the top of a 5-lock flight that would start my descent down towards Cropredy. That's if the trees didn't take me out first. Finally, an hour and a half after setting off, some decent mooring space. And there's the top lock.
Well, unless I'm much mistaken, this is Claydon Top Lock, and what is more, there is a volunteer lock keeper on who's just told me that there is one boat coming up. And they'll be about 5 minutes. Obviously, as soon as they come through, I can go down, and them coming up means that the lock should all be set in my favour as well. So, a good start to the locking for today.
Hooray for the lockies! And I had to record the boat coming out because of this glorious engine. Now it was my turn.
This then is Claydon Top Lock. I think there are 6 in the flight, something like that, 5 or 6. And what is more, not only one volunteer lock keeper, but 2. So the other one has now gone on ahead to set the next lock ready for me. I'll be flying through the whole flight at this rate.
Those words would prove prophetic, because my 4-hour trip today ended up just being 3 and a bit, all thanks to these volunteers helping me along. I keep getting asked, do you pay or tip the volunteers? No, the key word is volunteers. They do it because they enjoy it and like a bit of a chat with the boaters. That said, the offer of a biscuit or a bit of cake never goes amiss. And so it was, I flew straight into the second lock all ready for me. Let's see this in ultra quick time. Pottering around to the third lock, there's always time for a bit of duckling action as we go. The lockies ambled on behind me. They didn't need to rush because, goodness me, there were 2 more at the next lock who were filling it up for my arrival. So here we go again, lining up the boat in the hope of making a clean entry, since there were 4 pairs of eyes watching me. I do rather like these little brick sheds you find at some locks, especially with the chalkboard to record boat movements. And many lockies tend the plants too. Just a warning that if you have a chimney or other roof stuff on the right hand side coming through here, it may well get knocked off by the old bridge. Lock 4 was just around the bend. As you're no doubt getting the gist of things by now, we'll skip the descent in this one and go straight into Lock 5, which it turns out is the last one in this flight. Unfortunately, I didn't have any treats to offer the lockies, but they assured me this was fine. This slime is why climbing up lock ladders can be very dodgy, as the rungs get covered in it too. With the Claydon locks done, I still had 3 more to do, but they would be on my own. I'd bid farewell to the volunteers. I'm a big fan of metal piling at the side of the canal, as it stops the earth falling away and gives you something solid to tie up to, so this kind of work is a welcome sight. They are basically just banged into place with a mechanical thumping device. I did promise duckling action. Ah, look, it's another sea otter. These boats have a very distinctive style about them. Another boat was slowly exiting the lock, so I came to a crawl until they'd gone past, then went in. Here's me shutting the top gate once the boat was in the lock. And switching to use my bottom to push the beam for the last little bit. Time to descend, keeping a watchful eye that the boat doesn't hang up on any brick protrusions or such like. This was the first of the last 3 locks, which I'd be doing by myself. The next was just around the corner, past these geese who were keeping guard on it, and observed me with curious eyes. This cow was less curious and more anxious, backing away as if it had never seen a canal boat before. I'm no expert on geography, but I'm guessing those undulations are ridge and furrow ploughing marks, which can date back to prehistoric times. Down we go again. And this is the bane of any solo boater's life, having to close the gates behind you. You can see I was able to pause the boat in the lock exit and clamber up to sort things.
No, don't go slipping on your lines, that would be bad.
And in case you're wondering, I crossed over on the boat's roof behind the camera, hence my muttering about not slipping on the ropes.
Just one more lock to go and I should arrive at Cropredy Marina, and making good time too.
It's a slow chug to the last lock, as there are lots of moored boats and a little canal arm that seems to be some kind of working area. With the boat lightly tied to a bollard on the lock landing, I could walk up to see what needed setting. It was empty, so I needed to open the top paddles to fill it with water and bring it up to my level. Here we have ground paddles on either side, so called because these sluices are buried in the ground as part of the lock. When filling a lock with no boat in it, it's fine to fling the paddles fully open. You'd be much more gentle when raising a boat so as not to throw it around in the turbulence. This shows how the level in the lock is below that of the canal on the right, so I still had a little while to wait until the pressures were equal and I could open the gate. But once done, I walked back to the boat and could bring it in. The easiest way to do this is line up one side of the boat with the lock, then you know there's space on the other side, barring any obstructions. Sliding in smoothly, a perfect fit and another smooth descent. And a man with a lawnmower. I have no idea where he came from. There were just a few hundred yards to my destination, and I went past these happy holiday makers. You see all those boats between the bushes on the right? That's the top basin at Cropredy Marina, because it turns out they have more than one.
There are apparently two entrances to Cropredy Marina, north and south, and as I'm going to be berthed on, I think it's C53, something like that, I need the south entrance, which is the second one coming from this direction.
That's the one I want, Heron Basin. Right turn, Clyde. And, timed perfectly, just as I got there it started to rain. I'd been allocated berth C53 next to a friend of mine. You can see the numbering in a rather small font on the ends of each pontoon. That'll be the one. Gently does it so as not to hit the neighbour. I'd been told to moor bow first so as not to churn up the sides of the marina with my prop if I went in backwards. And going in forwards is easier anyway. And that's it. My 3-day jaunt had come to an end and had been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.